Okay, for this project, I am using a size J 6mm crochet hook, and I'm using Red Heart Super Saver, just a regular worsted weight acrylic 4-ply yarn. So you want to start with a slip knot. And then we're going to start off with a chain of 4. And then you want to slip stitch into the first one to form a ring. And then you want to do a chain 3. This chain 3 is going to count as our first double crochet. And we're going to need a total of 15 double crochets through the center of the ring. So just go ahead and work your double crochets through the center. Okay, counting that first chain 3, I got a total of 15. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and slip stitch to close that round off. And if you pull your tail tight, it'll make that center circle smaller. Now I'm going to switch colors at this point. Now you don't have to if you don't want to, but I'm going to. And when I'm working in a circle and when I'm switching colors, I like to just tie off each time. It makes for a cleaner transition when you do it that way. If you try to slip stitch a new color through, it bleeds over into this part, and you can see it really well. And I just found that if you just tie off at the end of each round, start fresh, it looks a lot better. But you can do it any way that you want. So now I'm going to start with my new color with a slip knot and my hook, and you can start anywhere you want to start. Just go ahead and pull through that slip knot on your hook. Chain 3. Counts as a double crochet. Go back into the same stitch. Do another double. Now I'm going to work around putting 2 double crochets in every stitch. And I'm going to hide my tail as I go, so I don't have to sew in a bunch of stuff at the end. Okay, I'm coming back around, and I just did my last double crochet there, and now you want to slip stitch into your first one to tie that round off, and you should have a total of 30 stitches this round. Okay, now this round we're going to be doing the petals, and when we do the petals we're only going to be working in the front loops, which is these little loops right here. Not these, but just the one loop. So what we want to do is we want to go right back into the same stitch and single crochet. Now every time we do petals, this is how we're going to do every row. The petals are always going to be done the same. And then we're going to skip this next stitch, and then the next one, the front loop of it only, we're going to do 5 double crochets. So I'm just going to go in to the front part of it and do 5 doubles. And then I'm going to skip the next one, and in the front loop of the next I'm going to do a single crochet. I'm just going in the front loop of it like that. Now I'm going to skip one, and in the front loop of the next, just the front loop of it, 5 doubles. And since you're only working in one loop, it kind of pulls a little bit, but that's okay. It's going to look like that. Skip one, the front loop of the next, single crochet. So this is the repeat, and we just want to repeat it all the way around. Skip one, 5 doubles in the front loop of the next, skip one, and then a single crochet in the front loop. Skip one, 5 doubles in the front. The reason why we work in the front loop, because when we do our next round, we're going to do double crochets and we're going to work them in the back loops. So there's 5. Skip one, single crochet in the front loop. Skip one, 5 doubles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Skip one, single crochet in the front loop. Skip one, 5 doubles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Skip, single crochet in the front. Skip one, 5 doubles. One, and then I'll have room to skip one, and then I'll be back to my starting stitch, the very first single crochet, slip stitch into it, just like that. Pull it out, and I'm going to switch colors here, but you don't have to switch colors where I am. You can switch colors every row. You can do all the same color, just whatever you want, however you want to do it. So that's the first round, and I'll hide my tails at the end. These I'll hide it later, but you can hide them as you go. So I'm going to start fresh with a new color again. Now it's easy from now on. It's just repeats. Now I don't know if you know the basics of increase in a circle, but we're going to do that every round. Like this round we did 15 double crochets. This round we did 2 double crochets in every stitch. Now the next round is going to be 1 double crochet and then 2 double crochets in the next stitch. And then 1 double crochet and then 2 double crochets in the next stitch. So that's what we're going to do on this round. So I'm just going to start, I usually start each round like in between the petals, but you can really start them wherever you want, but that's just kind of what I do. So kind of fold them over, and you'll see the back loops that we didn't go into from the previous round. So we're just going to be going into the back loop. Go ahead and start. If you're starting a new color, go through the stitch on your hook, chain 3. Okay, that counts as our first double crochet. And now in the next stitch, we're going to do 2 double crochets, which is right here, this back loop. So go ahead and put 2 doubles in it. And the next stitch is going to be 1 double. And remember, we're working in the back loops that we didn't go into on the last round. So if you fold your petals over, you'll be able to see them a little easier. You gotta kind of look for them sometimes, but now the next stitch is gonna have two double crochets in each stitch, and then the next stitch is gonna have one double crochet. The next stitch is going to be two. Next stitch is going to be one, and then two in the next. And it does pull it out just like it did the front because you're only working in one loop, but that's okay. It's going to look like that. And then one in the next, two in the next. So you're just going to repeat this pattern of one double crochet and then two double crochets, one double crochet, two double crochets, and you want to do that all the way back around to your starting point. And we're working in the back loops only. Okay, I made it back to the beginning, and I want to slip stitch into my beginning chain 3. And if you did it right, you'll end, your last stitch will be an increase stitch. You'll have two in the same stitch. And you should have a total of 45 stitches at the end of this round. Each round that we do of the double crochets, it's going to gain 15 more stitches each time. So now we're going to do another round of the petals. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back in the same stitch we just did, single crochet, skip a stitch. We're working in the front loops only, remember. 5 double crochets in the next. Skip a stitch, working in the front loops only, single crochet. Skip a stitch, front loops only, 5 double crochet. So this is going to be the repeat all the way around, just like we did with this. And from now on, this is going to be the repeat of the rest of the fabric piece that we're doing. I'll show you here. I got a big one done. Here's where we're at right here. And when we get all the way back around, we just slip stitch, and if you want to change colors there, you can. If not, you just keep going, or you keep with your same color. But this round right here, we're just, each round that we do a double crochet, we're going to be increasing the same way that we increase a circle. So this had 15 double crochets. This had 2 double crochets in every stitch, and this one that we just did was 1 double crochet in between each of the double crochet increases. So it was, what we just did was 2 double crochets in one stitch is called an increase. So we did 1 double crochet and then an increase, 1 double crochet and then an increase, and then we do our petals. The next row is going to be 2 double crochets in between the increase. So it's going to be 1 double crochet, 1 double crochet, and then an increase where there's 2 double crochets in one stitch. 1 double crochet, 1 double crochet, and then the increase. And then you do the row of the petals the same way we're doing them. Next round is 3 double crochets in between each increase. Next round, 4 double crochets in between each increase. And the last round, if you're going to make it as big as I do, you can always make it bigger. But I ended up having 5 double crochets in between each of my increases on the last round. So it's really easy. And always, when you're doing the petals, we work in the front loops. And when we're doing the double crochets, we work in the back loops. So it's super simple. Now, if you want to do 2 of these just like this, we're going to sew them together. 1 in the front, 1 in the back. I'm actually not going to do that, but you can. I just did a plain one for the back. Now, I probably would have did 2 of these, but to save time for the tutorial purpose, I just did a plain one. but I think it's going to look good too. And if you want to do a plain one, you just increase the rows of double crochets just like we were doing, but we just leave out the petals. So it's the same thing. And 7 rows of the double crochet, and this has 7 rows. So, and they're the same size. And now what we want to do is sew them together. Okay, to sew it together, I got a couple stitch markers and I counted. This is my first, I put a stitch marker and I counted that as 1. And I counted all the way around until I got to 75, and I stuck a stitch marker in the 75th stitch. So this was 1 and I put a stitch marker in it. And I went all the way around to 75. And I want to do that to both pieces because this is going to be my opening. And this is where I'm going to sew it together. And I'm going to sew it together using single crochet. So what I'm going to do is just put my pieces together and then start single crocheting. So I start with a slip knot on my hook. I lost my needle. Size J. Start with a slip knot on my hook. And I just start where my stitch markers are. And when I sew it together, I'm going to sew together on the, if you did 2 pieces of the flower ones, you're just going to be using the back loop to sew them together. So go ahead and go through the slip knot that's on your hook. Okay, go into the same stitch you started with and single crochet. And now I'm just going to match up my stitches working and doing single crochet. And the flower piece, that if you're using both flower pieces or just one, remember you're going to be sewing it together with on the back loops. The back loops that are left over from the last row of flowers that you just did. And I'm just going to go across the whole piece until I get to my stitch marker all the way around, doing single crochet. And I need to fix my camera, it keeps falling. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this, and then I'm going to find something to, sorry about that, to fix my camera with. Just single crochet all the way around until you get to the next stitch marker. I want to show you real quick, if you're sewing your pieces together, your flowered piece or petal piece, whatever you want to call it, and you're sewing it with the back loops. If you look closely, you can probably get 2 loops to make it a little bit sturdier, like right there, and then go into your other piece. You can just do 1 if you want, like here's the back loop, but if you look, turn it a little bit more, there'll be another loop you can grab. Again, you don't have to do this, that's just, I'm saying there'll be another loop, there it is. That's just something I seen that you can do if you wanted, so don't pull so tight, like right here. Here's the back loop. You can grab this one too, if you want. Got my piece sewed up, and I removed my stitch markers, and I just tied off. So there's my opening. Now what I want to do is go around the edges. So I got my bag facing me like this, and I want to start at this far edge. And I want to start in the first stitch that the first single crochet's in, or the last one. So go right into it and go ahead and pull through the slip knot that's on your hook to start with. I'm going to go back into the exact same stitch and do single crochet. Now I'm going to work my way across this piece, doing 1 single crochet in every stitch. And if you look close, you can get both loops. There's the back loop that you worked in, or that we left open, and then right below it there'll be another loop. If you want to grab both of them, you can, just to make it not pull so tight. But if you just grab the back loop, that's fine too. Anyways, we're just going to do 1 single crochet across in every stitch. We want to do that until we get to our other end of our opening. Okay, I made it across here doing 1 single crochet in every stitch. Now I'm going to work around the single crochet that we sewed it together with, and I'm going to do these little petal stitches again. So what I'm going to do is, here's the first single here's where I finished my last stitch. Here's the first single crochet that we made. I'm going to go into that stitch and do a single crochet. And remember, now we're working where we sewed it together. Now I'm going to skip a stitch, and in the next stitch I'm going to do 5 doubles. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then I'm going to skip a stitch and do a single crochet in the next. Skip a stitch, work 5 doubles. 1, 2, skip, single crochet, skip, 5 doubles. Skip, single crochet, skip, 5 doubles, and we just want to repeat this around. It's the exact same thing we were doing earlier. We're doing this again, except for we're not just going through the front loop, we're going through the whole entire stitch. And you skip, single crochet, skip, 5 doubles. Skip 1, single crochet, skip 1, and 5 doubles. And you want to repeat this until you get to around here to where it ended, where we quit sewing it together. And then we'll break off and do 1 single crochet in the top of this. So I'm just going to work my way around to about right here. Okay, I went all around with that row of petal stitches, and I'm right here to where I got my last stitch there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a single crochet these 2 little pieces together. So the same stitch that I started in, I'm going to go right through it again, and then the first stitch on the next piece, single crochet, and I'm just going to work around this back piece doing single crochet in each stitch. Just like this. You just want to keep doing this until you get to the other side here. And I just made it over here to my last stitch. I got one stitch back here. I'm just gonna go through this first. Let me look here. This first single, just one of this single crochet right here before the shell, and then the last stitch back here, and slip stitch it together so it just evens out that round a little bit. And now I need to hide my tail, and then we'll start on the handles. And you can definitely do any kind of handle that you want. I thought about it actually. I think I'm going to put 2 handles on mine, but 2 shorter handles. But you know, you definitely don't have to do that. You can buy handles too if you want. But so what I'm going to do is set this piece to the side for now, because I'm not going to need it just yet. Now, if you want to make handles like me, I'll show you what I'm going to do. Okay, for both my handles, I'm going to make them the same. And I'm starting out with a chain of 45 because I just want 2 short handles. So I want to do a half double crochet in the 3rd stitch from the hook, like that. And then I'm going to go across the row doing a half double crochet in every stitch until I get to the end of my chain. Okay, when you make it to the end, I'm just gonna clip off real quick. Put a little knot there, like that. Now I'm gonna get it start again, but I'm gonna start on the other side here. So I'm gonna start with the slip knot on my hook, and I'm gonna go into the very first stitch here. Slip stitch, go through the slip stitch on my hook, chain 1. Now I'm going to put this petal that we did on the bag down the side of the handle. So that chain 1 that we just did, I'm going to count it as a single crochet. So I'm going to skip 1 stitch, and in the next stitch I'm going to do 5 doubles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, skip 1, single crochet, skip 1, 5 doubles, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, skip 1, single crochet, skip 1, 5 doubles. So I'm just going to repeat this until I get to the end. Skip 1, single, like that. And I'm going to do that all the way to this end. Okay, now I'm going to show you how I'm going to sew the handles on. Remember, you do not have to do it this way, but I made 2 handles just like this. I just put the 1 row of the shell stitches on each handle, and then I made them the exact same, and I lined them up with the good sides facing out. See, there's a good side back here, good side here. And what I did was, I already got one side sewed on, so put them together at the bottom, and I tucked them inside the crack just a little bit to the very corner, like that, and fold it together. And I'm going to use a piece of yarn on my yarn needle, and I'm going to sew it on through this top row of single crochet. So I'm going to stick it in there, hold it really tight, and then I'm going to go in through both handles and then through the side and go back through the next stitch, flip it over, back through like that. So I'm sewing both handles together, and I'm also sewing the edge of the bag together. And you can do it differently if you want. This is just how it was going to work out best. I thought it would work out best for me. So, but everybody's different. I'm going to go across it a few times, sewing both handles together, and I'm sewing the flap together at the same time. Once you get it on good and tight, you can go ahead and hide your tail. And sew on your other side, which I already got my other side sewed on. Just 1 second here. And there it is. I already got this one sewed on. And that's it. That's all I'm going to do to this bag. And I hope you enjoyed my tutorial, and I hope you were able to follow them okay. And don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel, and please check me out on Facebook, and you can post all your finished bags or any of your crochet stuff on there. And until next time, have a nice day.